I'm so excited to have our guest with us today, David Martin, from the firm Terra. It's a development corporation. We just finally actually met. I've been involved in a number of meetings over the past couple of months with David. So it's nice to actually get to see him and meet him as we chatted earlier. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a background because his presentation is incredible. He is the CEO of this Miami-based firm that is, they have more than 5 million square feet of residential and commercial real estate, a value of excess of $8 billion. Their firm is active across all major real estate asset classes, including multifamily, luxury condo, single-family residential office space, hotels, and industrial. Mr. Martin oversees several facets of Terra's business, including real estate development, design, construction, financing, marketing, sales, and leasing. And having watched him navigate the Miami Beach City Commission and City Council and all their subcommittees, he has become a master at working with local and regional government. And that is, and they've really done an amazing job to get to this point. Under Mr. Martin's leadership, Terra has achieved international acclaim for its commitment to design excellence, resiliency measures, and sustainable development. This firm is a relatively new firm. They've only been around since 2001. And since that time, he has excelled at assembling a team of architects, designers, planners, engineers, and builders to bring these projects to life. When you see what they've come up with here, you guys are going to totally agree with me. With their entire approach to this. They've been working with the local community, the South of Fifth groups, the homeowners, to really make this a multifaceted community approach. And as I said, once you see it, having a destination like this added to our waterfront in Miami-Dade and the city of Miami and Miami Beach, it's really going to be fantastic. And with that, I'd like to introduce and give the microphone to David Martin of Terra.
Well, thank you so much, Kitty, and thank you all for your time today. I just hope all of you and your families are safe and healthy through these difficult and uncertain times. But I hope that we can all continue to work together to kind of see the marine industry and our local economy survive and kind of reimagine what the new world's going to look like. But this has been a journey. It's, wanted to walk you through a little bit about the project. I'm personally partners with the Kristoff family. Some of you may know them as well. I do know some of you that are on this call, like Michelle, who I work closely with in Coconut Grove, Niemeyer, and also Spencer Crawley. We went to University of Florida Law School together and care about him a lot. But specific to this project, kind of the current state of affairs when I got involved were somewhat of a marina that needed a significant capital improvement, but did have around 32 years left on its lease. It basically has 2 more years left on its base term, and then there's a series of extensions if the tenant so chooses to extend. So the idea for us was, how do we provide something that the community can embrace? City of Miami Beach is somewhat of a difficult climate, very big on historic preservation, very big on kind of somewhat anti-development, et cetera. And specifically South of Fifth Street, which, although kind of in the 1980s, the city designated South of Fifth neighborhood as a redevelopment area, kind of a blighted neighborhood, and set up a CRA, Community Redevelopment Agency, that basically all the incremental tax revenues were able to be reinvested within those boundaries. And at that time, they asked the Kristoff family, et cetera, to kind of take a big leap of faith, I think, with this marina that has really proven to be kind of a great asset for the city and the community and the marine industry. And our goal and job is really, how can we improve, enhance, and really take this marina to kind of the next level from a design and specification standpoint, and really offering and kind of offering all the retail and enhance that retail experience and community experience. So we started with a park. one of the easiest ways of kind of initially getting our community, and I hope everyone can see my screen. If not, you could let me know, but I hope everyone's seeing this. So we start with this image. One of the big ideas in our business from a retail standpoint and just in general is that technology, as you know, has been disrupting our lives, our children's lives, from a standpoint of learning and gaming and social media, et cetera, to the point that people really want to find places where they could hang out and enjoy and collaborate and engage. And parks are such an important part of that. And when you look at kind of the South of Fifth neighborhood, you got a great ability. You have an amazing beach walk, an amazing kind of South Point Park. And then what we wanted to introduce was kind of a pocket park here at the Marina that kind of created that kind of destination. Currently, there's I think a parking lot there. Kind of going back to what Kitty had mentioned, we've had hundreds of individual outreach meetings, Zoom meetings, telephone conferences. Imagine trying to do community outreach during COVID in the beginning. So we also had engagements with the Miami Beach Housing Authority. We have a senior kind of elderly housing community to our north. Also the chamber, the President's Council. Those are the presidents of all the condo associations. The Friends of the South Point School that's close by to us. And then these are a series of land use committee meetings that kind of are public hearings that kind of take place. And I want to thank Kitty for really joining some of these and really supporting the project. And we also had a South of Fifth neighborhood virtual town hall meeting. We set up a website, mbmarinapark.com, as kind of an information website. And we also opened up at the old Fisher Island space. We opened up a Marina Park kind of community information center. We've also been fielding. I think that this is kind of out. Some of the information on this slide is somewhat dated. Just as of last week, we answered an additional, I think, 20 questions. So we're now down to around 65 kind of FAQs or questions we've been getting from the community and responding and trying to be as responsive as we can. And we were able to get unanimous kind of approvals at the two finance meetings, two land use meetings, planning board meeting, city commission, and then on July 29th, we're hopefully keeping our fingers crossed going to be able to get our approval. And that's not the end. In the city of Miami Beach, there's two things that are part of this transaction. One is that we are purchasing air rights, which is somewhat unique. And then we're also extending a lease beyond 99 years. So beyond 10 years, which any lease extension beyond 10 years in the city of Miami Beach requires a public referendum. So we have two ballot questions that are going to be on the ballot in November. We like November. We view that as getting a lot of voter turnout. Traditionally, some of the other years in the past, a lot of times, kind of the anti-business, anti-development type groups are typically when you have these smaller elections, the ones that vote. But we really feel good about where we are, where our polling is as it relates to the project. But we're not 100% certain. So even if we get this second reading passed, and basically we already have a lease negotiated with the city, a development agreement negotiated with the city, purchase and sale agreement negotiated with the city and REA, just a host of legal documentation that's been very intense process, very late nights and weekends trying to really work with the city. The city's been extremely professional and really looking to what we see is going to be happening to most of our municipalities, which is they're going to need revenue. They're going to need incremental revenue. Obviously, the tourism industry has hit Miami Beach hard. A significant part of their annual budget has been coming from that. And so definitely COVID, I think, for Miami Beach is, definitely creating some economic impact. So the goal here is, how can Miami Beach kind of reimagine itself long term? What ways can they diversify their revenues? And it really goes back to how important assets like the Miami Beach Marina are to the longevity and livelihood of not only the redevelopment of South of Fifth Street, but also kind of creating an annuity or a significant amount of cash flow for the city, with really no real risk, if you will. We started with the project kind of talking about what's in it for the community. I think we really kind of focused on the community engagement. A lot of the discussions were, yeah, David, you're giving all this money to the government, but they're just going to squander it, et cetera. So we've really had to really work closely with the community, a lot of the activists that some of you may know, to really try to come up with a plan that was a win-win for everyone. So really developing and creating the additional green space obviously is something that's always a plus. But again, that is important that the marina operations and everything having to do with the marina are still pure and clean and simple and operative and operational and efficient. And so, that was also a very big challenge and opportunity we had here. Second is a huge investment in the redevelopment of that marina and reconstruction. And, we currently have 400 slips there. Suntex is the current owner. As you know, the Criswell family owned it for many, many years. And really, Suntex is not the specific owner. There's a specific entity, I think it's MBM, that is the owner. But regardless, I've been working very closely with Brian Redmond, CEO of Suntex, kind of trying to make sure and ensure that they can live up to a lot of the requirements that the city's having in order to give this extension, that go into a lot of details on for instance, discounts for residents, things like the amount of capital infrastructure and improvements. There was a ferry that was discussed. I think it's the Poseidon Group's been working with the county. Spencer, you may know a little bit about that. And so we were able to house that ferry over at the Scott Robbins and Jonathan Fried's Marina at the Bentley Bay. And so they now have a full-time dedication in order to give us the flexibility to do the reconstruction, redevelopment we needed at the marina. So we really, I've been working very closely with them as well as with the city and the community trying to get this project done. The other is the Baywalk, kind of improving it. There's certain parts of the Baywalk that are beautiful. Beach Walk is beautiful. But then right when you get to around the Rebecca Towers, which is a senior community, and the Upland Marina retail facility, it's somewhat kind of tired and kind of just needs some upgrade. Then we have the lifestyle retail component, kind of trying to recalibrate the retail a little bit as it relates to kind of just the quality of the structures and kind of ceiling heights, and just trying to improve the area, still preserving the marina offices and really re-tenanting all the basic uses, dive shops, et cetera, that are going to exist, but just doing it in a, call it, more aesthetically architectural way, and really something more inviting and maybe more in keeping, and kind of the depths of the retail are kind of a little more in keeping with what works today versus what the current design was in the early 80s and that type of thing. And then the big thing, which Miami Beach is really big on, is how can this property kind of contribute to the mitigation or adaptation moves in order to kind of improve water quality, to protect the bay. So we're like installing, I think it's like 12 wells for water quality, that for stormwater water quality stuff that we're doing. And so we're doing a lot of neighborhood resiliency moves that the city is requiring us to do as part of the overall financial package for the city. So, I think it's exciting kind of how we can hack capitalism and then do all these things that are needs in a neighborhood. I think this is a model we need to start thinking about kind of as we move forward, because presently I think, a lot of us, rely on the government to solve a lot of these issues. And I think they want to solve them. I just think sometimes they may not have the resources or maybe the expertise or ability to bring planners, thinkers, and engineers to really kind of execute on that. Kind of the summary of fiscal benefits, and this has been updated now. So basically, we're at around 50 million plus an additional 12.5 million. So we're now at around $62.5 million over 35 years. I just wanted to clarify that here of capital infrastructure expenses. We're also we're also paying the city for air rights in cash, and it's over a period of time and of installments. We hired Miami Economic Associates to kind of do an economic impact study, job creation study, tax revenue study, et cetera. And when you incorporate the increased rent, the increased property tax revenues, remember the residential piece, which is around 200,000 square feet, 200 and change, that's going to generate probably a new assessed value, incremental value of around $500 million. That's close to 11 or 12 million dollars per year. So the city's take of that is around 3 or 4. So that's a big number on an annual basis, and that the cities typically can bond off those cash flows in order to start investing in a lot of the infrastructure or whatever needs they have in the city. So and then also the air rights. And what we wanted to do was be honest. So the $147 million is an increase only in the 32 years. So we really didn't kind of create a net present value over the 99 years of the lease. We just looked at the 32 years to just compare if you stay with what is there now, right, and just let those 32 years go versus going with us for the next 32 years. What is the incremental benefit to the city? And that is the increased rent, increased property tax revenue, and the sale of air rights. And that this excludes all the infrastructure spending that we're making. Here's the taxes. We have the job creation numbers here as well. And so I think this probably could be larger because we really only focused on the uplands, and I don't believe I gave Miami Economic Associates kind of the assignment on the indirect or direct jobs created from that marina or any kind of new activity. But again, we were trying to look at what new jobs were created rather than just taking advantage of existing jobs and trying to use that as part of our presentation, because we really felt that it was pretty big. And kind of the next section here is just GDP growth, kind of $250 million, et cetera, associated with this specific project. This kind of just gave you some of the terms, kind of what changed, right? I told you, this capital improvement and this 50 million has grown, but in essence, kind of the minimum annual guaranteed rent in the early 80s was the 320. Basically, the agreement now will be a fixed minimum of 1.9, which I think was a big win for the city. We stayed with our percentage rent, gave additional percentage rent associated parking facilities, and also doubled our kind of diesel or fuel participation to the city, and then obviously talked about all the other millions of dollars the city's getting, really by just allowing us to redevelop the property and really not investing, much in or anything really. So this is really just private dollars here. We're not really using any public dollars, not a real penny of public dollars to develop this project. This just talks about how we got to that $147 million number of increased revenue. We have our net present value of our new lease. We have the net present value of the city's share of the real estate taxes, obviously the county and the school board get, and we got the air rights. And then we could just show the total projected revenues associated with the existing lease and kind of did this comparison here. And then kind of going to the program a little bit, I'll try to be as quick as I can because I know you guys are limited on time. Basically one of the themes we're adding basically 60 units, only 60 units, residential units. And so so one of the big things for the community is that this project is traffic neutral. So enclosed FAR, we're going to have around 45,000 square feet. That does not include our outdoor dining experiences, et cetera. But for FAR purposes, which is the way City of Miami Beach kind of regulates intensity of buildings, we went from 57,000 square feet to 45. So that gave us that traffic neutrality. This shows kind of, the marina and those capital improvements. Kind of talks a little bit about, the functional elements that are there now, the wayfinding, the style, mooring piles, the style of the planters, signage, et cetera. And just, really our goal is just to do a little enhancement and upgrade on the lighting, signage, planters, bike racks, benches, bollards, et cetera. Just trying to make it kind of a little more architecturally pleasing and upgrading it. And I think improving the quality of what's there now, but still preserving the intent of what's there. These are some existing pictures of the current condition of the Baywalk and riprap. And so for us, we're just, really going to be looking at improving that, trying to introduce permeable pavers, how we're berming it, how we're controlling water management. And so, just beautification really kind of the Baywalk. And these are just inspirational images. One of the big things with this project is, we still have to go to design review board. So not only do we got to pass second reading, we got to pass the referendum in November, but then we were going to have to go to a design review board and planning board at the City of Miami Beach to get our approval. So we're not over with our community meetings, but I think we kind of tried to start off the right foot. These are some of the existing retail and larger capacity restaurants, marina shops, and outdoor bars and everything else. And so, what we're just trying to do is we want to maintain having, we're in active discussions with existing tenants, like for instance Monty's, in order to re-tenant them in the facility. It's kind of somewhat premature in that we don't have an approval from the city, we don't have a referendum, but for us it's all about kind of what the dialogue is and will be for a lot of these existing tenants that are going to just go into a new facility. And kind of this is kind of the theme. I think there definitely could be a fitness component that's not there now. That would be great. I think kind of the market could really be something a little more special. I think the Bayview dining, we could have a couple different options that we're looking at, marine store, and just want to protect and kind of this being a marina facility and what it means to be a marina facility, but at the same time just trying to improve the aesthetics and quality of the spaces for the community and for the marina industry. And then this just talks a little bit about, I don't want to bore you with all this, but just talks about some of the resiliency enhancements we're doing on Alton Road, some of the requirements, cistern requirements and well requirements we have inside the park. And so this just kind of talks a little bit about that. And then we kind of get into the site plan. One of the big things for us was when you really look at the footprint of the building, basically Monty's, the Monty's, the Texas de Brazil, all the retails in the existing footprint that you're seeing there now, that square that you see there, is that what you see to the south here that we're creating a park is actually the parking lot, and then we're integrating the parking that was there in the pedestal. So basically in the back of the pedestal, the front of the pedestal along Bayfront, you're going to have retail, and in the back of the pedestal, we're going to have parking. So we basically kind of meet, whatever parking requirements existed. But at the same time, we also had to be careful to maximize the view corridors to our neighboring buildings, whether it was Rebecca Towers or Murano Grand, so kind of why you see the building very compact, if you will. That I think, and some of this presentation just shows you somewhat the distance from, Rebecca Towers, the distance from Murano Grand. This is a concept plan. It's not the final design. I mean, we hired Bjarke Ingels, who did our Grove at Grand Bay project, and is someone that in Coconut Grove, and is someone that I love working with, and it's really exciting. Danish guy, but his office is in New York, but is really someone that understands tropical modernism, and so we're basically this is still in design mode, if you will, but this is somewhat the concept, which kind of creates kind of a vehicular kind of drop-off, commercial drop-off environment here with access direct into this kind of retail facility and office facility right here. There will be a ramp down for around 100 basement parking spaces, and then there's going to be a ramp up for the residential spaces. So basically the replaced parking that's in this green space is actually going there. We still have our fuel pumps. We still have to have our turning radiuses. We still have to have all our guest parking and kind of all the marina parking that exists for provisioning of boats and everything else. So this is something that is still in design, but it's kind of a concept plan that we tried to take into account a lot of the provisioning that was necessary, and trying to bring the community more green space and more permeability and more water management ideas. And so that's kind of the idea. Here's the drop off for the residential, so it really doesn't mix with the marina and it doesn't mix with the retail. Here's the access. Basically, the marina currently has, I think, around 500 spaces, give or take, and so they all are housed inside Icon, Murano Grand, Yacht Club, or Portofino Murano. And so this is kind of the access point for the Murano Icon parking facility, which is good. And then kind of these are some of the renderings. They're not final by any means, but the idea here is that we have a 2-story pedestal here of retail, and then we have our 3rd floor with this terracing effect of office. So we're basically going to have office fronting the bay. We're going to have retail on the 2nd floor fronting the bay. And we're going to have retail on the 1st floor fronting the bay and the park. Park's not designed, as I said, but there's we're going to be working. Raymond Jungle's doing something super cool here, trying to make it, a passive park, no real sports or anything. It's really only an acre, but really how it meets and works with the retail environment, I think is something important. And here you find kind of, all the marina functioning and access and drop off and parking and everything that needs to happen is still happening there. And basically the footprint of this building is basically the footprint of the existing building. And the green space on the right is basically where the parking lot is currently. So that's kind of the big idea. A lot of the community guys, this isn't, again, my finished renderings, but a lot of the community guys wanted to see, all right, how's it going to look from Alton Road? So we just had to put together this rendering. Again, park's not finalized design, but here's the green space where the parking lot was. Here's the retail facility and office facility and garage. And then here is the kind of provisioning back of house, all the gas tank kind of connection and everything else, and just trying to make the area more beautiful and kind of in keeping with what the neighborhood's kind of evolved into from the 80s. And this just shows you some up close and personal stuff that will evolve. And as I hopefully get approval in 2nd reading and hopefully get approval in our referendum, which we need to get around 50% of the vote. Then after that, I'd love to engage you guys and update you guys on kind of how the design has evolved of the marina, how the design is going to evolve of the building and the retail facility, so you guys can really understand what we're trying to do. I think that's it. But I'm here open to a bunch of questions or ideas or comments, and just appreciate your time today, guys. Thank you.
David, thank you so much. And like I said, I've seen this presentation a number of times, and it never ceases to impress me with having gone through a number of the different rounds as to how the project has evolved to fit the neighborhood's needs and desires, and yet has done such a spectacular job architecturally, at least presenting something that is not just going to be a lovely addition to the landscape in South Florida, but a real iconic destination for the boating industry down here. And I can only imagine that the marina aspect will be just as equally exciting and engaging as the upland part. Whereas I know if you're like some of us who grew up here in South Florida, we have a lot of fond memories of that property. So we look forward to lots more on that. Does anybody have a question that they'd like to ask David?
David, this is Bert. Fantastic presentation, and I appreciate you keeping to the time. Quick question, from the marina side of things, any thoughts toward dredging and the slip configuration?
Yeah, I think they don't have it designed. I think Suntex maybe didn't think I was going to be able to get it done, get us this far, but definitely they're looking at that. They're looking at that, but there's no design yet. But I think after 2nd reading, I'm going to start my design review board for the uplands. So I'm going to be starting my design workshop, and I'm sure they're going to be starting their design of the marina. But definitely, they in meetings with me, they have discussed, trying to optimize the slip configuration from what currently exists today.
Thank you.
And that's the thing, guys, here, as we're thinking of any other questions you might have. We do, because this is not a given. So the point here is that we need to let the city commission know, the Miami Beach Commission know that this is something that's important to the marine community, to have something that could be this spectacular and this much of a draw, and as well as to raise up our industry here in Miami-Dade County. It ties in so well with what we're already doing with, I'm sure, what Spencer was chatting about and the other guys about the RAP project and doing the studies of the things that'll improve everybody's experience down here. So we're going to send an email to everybody and ask you to, if you feel so inclined, which I hope you will after now seeing this project being laid out, to just to let the commissioners know that this is important. And then because the point here is then the next step would be getting it on, getting the referendum on the ballot for then the election and the vote in November. So then we'll be kind of coming back around to you guys and keeping the Marine Council in the loop in that process as well. But so the next step is you'll get an email from us with an easy link to show support to the commissioners, to let them realize the importance of this. And then obviously as Miami voters, you'll have to, if you're in Miami Beach, you'll be able to vote. So any other questions?
Yeah, Kitty, I think you covered it. I think that was my main question. David, what else would you like? What would you need from us to help? And I think Kitty actually covered it.
I think Kitty addressed it. Someone in our team has a kind of a very easy link that basically by clicking it, it automatically sends emails to each commissioner or mayor, kind of in support. So if you could review that and what that message is, I think that for me is pretty much it. There is a public meeting on the 29th where I do get some activists that I have not been able to win over that kind of start, railing on me or the project. So sometimes it'd be nice to just have supporters be able to physically kind of be on the Zoom call to kind of just express their support personally. But I'm sure you guys don't have a lot of your time available to you because you have your jobs, and sometimes these meetings are somewhat not predictable about when they start. If the best and ideal situation is for on the 29th for you to go in, but I think an email is just as good and would be helpful. So if Julie and Kitty, when they send that out, just clicking on that link, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, we'll make it very easy, and as well, I'll send you the link as well if anybody wants to. I mean, you could do, something just as easy, and they do actually have a pretty tight system, as convoluted as government can be. Their system, once they get rolling and they get into the process, then it's just a matter of pushing a button, which essentially says, I raise my hand, I want to speak. And each person has 2 minutes. So if you have time next Wednesday, I will be on and speaking on behalf of some sectors of the industry. So if you'd like to also join in and support that, I'll make sure you guys have the information as well. Every little bit helps. That's like when you line up the stack of the yeses and the nos and the supports and the non-supporters, you kind of go, well, then all you have to do is look at the economics and go, okay, yeah, let's do this. So, and in essence, again, it comes back to, we just want to put this in the hands of the voters. So, so you're not going to be like trying to be a bad bully if you just say, yeah, let's just get it let's get it in the hands of voters. So that's really the essence of that's where we are today. But does any?
What about this is Spencer, Kitty. What about a resolution from the Marine Council? Would that help? I mean, I know the
100%
emails from members
Yes.
are helpful, but to also have the backing of the organization, I think through a resolution would be helpful as well.
that would be great.
I love that when you're sitting in my office, like looking over my shoulder, and I was just going to say, I have a number of board members on there. Would it be good if we put a resolution together from Marine Council? Perfect. Is that a form of a motion? Can I get a second?
I'll move that as a motion. And Karcher will second as long as he can do that.
I see Mr. Karcher blessing it. Thank you, Mr. Crowley. Consider it done, David. You'll have it here very shortly, and I'll be sure to forward it to Essie so she can distribute as well.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
From the resident activist perspective, as you know, you and I have worked together for many, many, many years on that. And I am no longer a Grove resident. I'm a downtown Miami resident, but
Oh, wow.
yeah, I moved. I bought a place downtown in November of 2016. So, or not 16, I'm sorry, 18. So I've been here anyway for a while now. So, but I have dealt with some of the beach people, not a lot of them. But if you need an activist who's not known to be someone who's in the pocket of developers, to talk to them and vouch for you, don't hesitate to give my name and my number and let them know that I was the chair of the village council and I was involved with the waterfront planning process in the Grove. And, I have dealt with your projects on an activist level while I was still in the Grove, and I can say very good things.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Hey, Dave,
It's nice to see you, Michelle. It's been a while.
It's nice to see you too.
Cheers.
David, this is Mike Kiley with Dennison. How are you? Probably putting this question would be putting the cart well before the horse. But if you had your wish list of all the approvals done, what type of time frame could be realistic for this project to start and possibly?
Sure. I'll walk you through it. So November 2020 is the referendum. Then the closing, where the lease becomes effective and the air rights are purchased, would be happening March 2021. Going through the city's design review board and planning board will probably take around 6 to 9 months from that. So let's call it fourth quarter of 2020.
Right.
And then from there, it's going to take around a year to get my construction drawings and engineering drawings and building permits ready. So I would say another year after that. So it could be that 2021 and 2022, everything's status quo, and goal is sometime first quarter, second quarter 2023 to really get going on the project. So I would say probably 3 years is a rational time frame. But always in our business, we're always trying to accelerate that. But it seems somehow we have so many different governmental agencies that we have to get permitting from but I think 3 years is kind of when the first kind of activities will be started at the site.
All right, well, terrific. I'm two blocks from the marina where I reside here in Miami Beach. I'm very active in the community, as well as my wife. She's on the board for the chamber. We're active with a lot of the commissioners. So if there's anything I could do, please personally reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Michael, I think are you speaking, Michael? You're on mute here.
I just muted myself. I've got another Zoom call going in the other room, so with someone else. So we're trying to keep some of the noise out of your call.
Okay.
A double Zoom call. That's awesome.
Double Zoom. That's a first, Mike. Mr.
It.
Kiley, that's some serious talent. You're double zooming. I like it. Zoom squared. Mr. Karcher.
Thanks, guys.
Yes.
I thought you were looking to wave your hand to say something.
No. I all for it. Sorry. Just someone was yelling in my ear.
Oh, okay. Were there any other questions, comments? We will create a resolution on behalf of the Marine Council, given that we had a quorum of the board here, and that's a great thing. And so we'll have that support, and we'll have the email out to everybody else here so you can send your comments individually to the commissioners as well. Jason, did you want to say something?
Just one question. I really appreciate the presentation, David. And I know some of it was moving information or it's changing constantly. Is there anything publicly available, like some of the graphics and things that can be used in discussions or dissemination?
Sure. So if you go to the website at mbmarinapark.com, let me go to it here. Perfect, it works. Okay. So everything that I just presented is on that website.
Okay, perfect. I got it pulled up here. Yeah. Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, David, thank you once again for your great project and your presentation. It's certainly very valuable to all of us, and knowing that we have something positive coming to raise up the entire industry in South Florida is a real benefit, and for your untiring support there. Again, guys, our next meeting will be the end of September. That if you need anything in the meantime, you know where to find us. We'll be sending you email updates as we go through this process. I do encourage you, and also encourage you to spread the wealth to any of your friends or colleagues and associates about the project. It's never a bad thing to have more people talking positively about it, and share the links for the City Commission. They didn't just have to see it from us here. Spencer, thank you so much for your update on what's going on. We always really appreciate having you on board as well. And let's definitely do that boat show prayer dance, and let's have positive thoughts that we get to run the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show in November. Meanwhile, stay safe, stay healthy, and as they say, for heaven's sakes, wear a mask so we can get over this silly thing, and let's just move on and talk about something else, like a great marina project in Miami Beach. So thank you for joining us for the Marine Council meeting. Send in your dues, send in your ideas for new people to join, and stay safe, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much,
everybody.
All right, take care. Thanks, David.